Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. I hope everyone is doing well. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like to know more updates, I'll have those at the end of the video because I know a lot of people don't care about stuff that's going on with me, but I want to update you on a lot of different things. Also, if anyone is interested in donating to help support the channel, I am going through a rough period right now. I'll have all that information in the description, my Venmo, my PayPal. I'm also doing another Yosemite 3-ounce beautiful bronze coin, which I will go over at the end of the video. It's very simple to enter. Those of you that have followed along know about the coin giveaways and you all seem to like that, so I'm going to continue doing that. If any of you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear from you. In any event, let's get into today's video. Today we are going to be talking about not only the disappearance of Madison Scott, but she has recently been found, and this is a case that has always just tore at my soul. I know a lot of you are already familiar with the case, however there's many that are probably not, so what I'm going to do is go over the details of what happened that night, things that have happened over the years, and then bring us up to the most recent events. So Madison Scott went missing on May 28th of 2011. She was out celebrating a friend's birthday at a campsite called Hogsback Lake. I'm going to have maps up as always. It's in British Columbia, Canada, roughly 25 kilometers southeast of her hometown, which is Vanderhoof, British Columbia. Now again, I'm going to have various maps up and go over them with you so you can get an idea. That X marks the spot of where this lake was that they were hiking or camping around. This is a picture map of that lake. Hogsback Lake is roughly 128 acres and 22 feet deep at its deepest place. It's a relatively clear lake with about 10 feet of visibility just looking down into it. Madison, who went by Maddy, was only 20 years old when she went missing. Now that day, she had driven out to the campsite with her friend Jordy. However, when they got to the campground, they immediately realized that they had forgotten the tent poles. They went back to Madison's house, retrieved the poles, went back, and Madison proceeded to set up her tent right by the lake, get her sleeping bag in. She had her Ford white F150 parked right next to her tent. Madison was loved by everyone who knew her. They considered her a friend, a sister. She was very smart. She was beautiful. She was studying to be a mechanic. She was an excellent ice hockey player. She was just very, very well rounded. Well, that night at this party on May 27, 2011, she got tired while everyone else was out partying and doing their thing. She got tired, went into her tent, got into her sleeping bag, was texting back and forth with her father. At that point, everything seemed fine. She could hear commotion going on outside, and apparently around midnight that night, a fight broke out between her friend Jordy and someone else. Jordy came to Madison's tent and said that her and her boyfriend wanted to leave. Would Madison like to come with them? Madison was upset about this. She didn't want them to leave because there were still a lot of people around, many of which Madison and Jordy didn't know. These parties, you know how they tend to get out of control. Jordy and her boyfriend left and Madison stayed in her tent. The next morning at roughly 8:30 a.m., and this is according to the testimony that Jordy gave the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, she stated that she went back to collect her belongings, her clothes, her sleeping bag. She found Madison's tent unzipped, with apparently her sleeping bag and all of her items were kind of shoved to one side of the tent. There was no sign of Madison, and the odd thing is that she just left and went to work. She didn't report it to anybody. It was like nothing really had happened. She just, I guess, thought nothing of it. It doesn't necessarily mean something nefarious was going on with Jordy. It just is a little odd that she wouldn't have told anybody that she found her good friend's campsite just abandoned. The last time Madison Scott was seen was in the early morning hours of May 28th, 2011, when this other party had gotten going, and apparently there was over 150 people there, a lot of people that the high schoolers didn't even know. The original party was posted on Facebook, and apparently it just got out of control. This is, of course, another picture of Madison. This picture right here is sort of a recreation that they did of how that looked. This is at the actual campsite, but it's not her actual truck and tent. It's just a recreation. This is her actual truck and the actual site when they found her truck and the campsite. At one point during that evening, people reported that Madison's tent had been flattened as if somebody had stomped on it, or it had collapsed and it was just lying there. Again, very bizarre that no one really reported this. At first, the family was optimistic. They thought maybe she had just gone off with one of her friends and they had all been drinking, so they thought maybe it was just, you know, high schoolers just getting a little out of control. But by May 29th, they knew something was seriously wrong, because it was very out of character for Madison not to talk or text with her family. The RCMP immediately started a huge search effort. They had helicopters, they had various dogs, cadaver dogs, they had people on foot, they had people on quads, they had people on horseback. They had the helicopters that were using the forward-looking infrared cameras. They even brought in various trucks with special equipment. They brought in a huge amount of search and rescue people that all walked within a foot and a half of each other in these huge lines to search huge grids all around the 128 acres around the lake. The helicopters had huge search grids, which I'll go over. And some of these boats, they had side-looking sonar. This boat, for example, you might not think it, but some of these boats are very expensive with all this equipment that they have on it. That boat, probably $20,000 or $30,000. Now, this is a route of some of what the helicopters did. You can see they cover just a huge amount of area, roughly 2,800 kilometers. Unfortunately, even with all those effort and the additional rescue boats that they brought in to search after that, they still found nothing, not even any clues. At this point, her family reached out to the public, and the public responded very well. They were very, very helpful. This grabbed the attention of basically the entire world, because Madison was just such a wonderful person. Everybody loved her, everybody wanted to help, and they had hundreds of people come out to volunteer to help with these searches. Eventually, there were billboards and various signs put up all throughout in and around the area, even as far south as Washington. They had the RCMP was one of their highest profile cases. They never gave up on the case. They kept working it. They eventually, the family submitted a reward of $100,000 that was advertised everywhere. They had various posters up all throughout British Columbia, Vancouver. The investigators tracked down everybody that was at the parties. They gave them lie detector tests. Everybody seemed to cooperate, which was pretty incredible considering how many people were in and out of that campground. Unfortunately, none of those gave them any leads, because everybody was very cooperative. There were a few people, and it depends on what media outlet you look at. I tried to go back through all the different newspapers and give you cross-reference information to give you the best possible information, but unfortunately through all that they had nothing. They didn't have a suspect, they had no evidence. This is another picture of the area of where she went missing around Hogsback Lake. Year after year, what they would do is they'd have these annual poker ride or raise awareness events, which was just basically people coming to help search and rescue on foot or on quads to look for any type of clues, whatever it might be. Family was just so strong. I mean, they, from all the cases that this is another picture of some of the quads that are going out searching for, actually during one of the years, a couple years back. This family has just been so strong. The investigators have been just doggedly pursuing this. This has been on all kinds of documentaries. I'm sure if you look it up, I think 48 Hours did a special on it. There's been numerous other documentary films, one produced by a Scottish director even, a guy by the name of Stephen Schuyler. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. But anyway, this is a case that has captured the minds of many people, and so many people have put a lot of energy and love and heart, just dedication into this. And just recently, this year, May 27th, 2023, almost 12 years to the day, there were people out walking. Madison Scott's remains have been found. The police are releasing very limited information. You have to remember, this is an ongoing investigation where foul play is heavily suspected. So I don't have a lot of information. I know that the remains were found roughly within 50 kilometers of the lake where she disappeared. Apparently they were found in and around or on a body of water. The British Columbia coroner's office had enough information and DNA evidence to get a positive match, and the RCMP did make a statement that it was indeed the remains of Madison Scott, which is obviously very tragic, but it's one step closer to closure for the family. I believe that they will get justice because so many people want justice for her family. My thoughts and prayers go out to the whole family, all the loved ones, everybody who's worked so hard on this case, all the volunteers, all the RCMP and other investigators who are going to work to solve this case and figure out what happened to Madison, because Madison was a very strong young woman. She didn't just wander off and do this to herself. I thoroughly believe that there was foul play involved. Of course, I would love to hear your opinions. This case has touched the hearts of many people. You're entitled to your opinion, but please remember that this is a real family that has been going through a terrible ordeal. I want to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate all your feedback and support. I am feeling a little better, so I'm going to be able to upload more videos. I really do apologize that it hasn't been the same upload schedule. I know some of you have been disappointed in me. It has nothing to do with not wanting to. I love uploading. I love doing the research and even going out west to volunteer. Before I continue, I just wanted to say a special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Honestly, I love all your support and your letters. I don't want to complain and whine or anything, but those of you that know what you have to go through with Lyme disease, you know that the medication is sometimes worse than the actual ailment. So it's just been frustrating, but I wanted to know that I am working very hard at getting back to my regular upload schedule, and I appreciate your patience. If you have any calendar submissions you'd like to submit for next year's calendar pictures, I'll have that email address as always, as well as my P.O. Box, my Vimeo, my PayPal, and really just your comments and your feedback. That's enough for me. I love you guys. This coin giveaway is another 3-ounce beautiful bronze US minted Centennial Yosemite coin. It comes in a beautiful case and gift box as well, display stand. It's a beautiful coin. It's direct from the US Mint. If you have any questions, all you need to do is leave a comment with a case suggestion or feedback and say that you'd like to be entered into the Yosemite coin giveaway. You guys seem to really like this coin giveaway things that I've been doing, so I will continue to do it. If you guys have any questions for me, I'd love to hear from you. I know a lot of you are familiar with this case that we just discussed, Madison Scott. I am going to stay with this case and bring you updates as I know them. I mean, as they become available. Right now, I just want to leave it up to the authorities and just pray and hope that they figure out what happened to Madison on that fateful night, and pray that they get the people that are responsible, because it's my opinion that there was foul play involved. I'd love to hear what your opinions are, but if you read all the articles and research and everything associated with this case, it just makes no sense that somebody doesn't know something. Somebody knows something. I believe that with all the attention, that person will eventually be found out. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.